皆様、こんにちは。本日は私どもインベスト香港が主催するウェビナー、香港におけるフードサービスと小売 e コマースの商機、デジタルエコシステムの活かし方にご参加いただき、誠にありがとうございます。本日の司会進行役を務めます、インベスト香港西日本担当の中田でございます。本日はよろしくお願いいたします。ウェビナーの開始にあたりまして、まずは私どもインベスト香港についてと、本日のウェビナーの開催趣旨について簡単にご説明させていただきます。私どもインベスト香港は、香港投資推進局は外国企業を香港に誘致し、そして香港への進出のお手伝いをし、さらには進出していただいた外国企業の香港での事業拡大もご支援する、香港政府の専門部局です。日本には東京と大阪に事務所があり、日本企業への相談窓口となっております。さて、新型コロナウイルス感染症により、香港のビジネス環境は大きく変わりました。しかし、日本企業の中には、この厳しい環境の中でも、香港で業績を伸ばしているたくましい会社も存在します。それら企業はどのようなビジネス環境でサバイバルしているのでしょうか。一方で、感染拡大の沈静化に伴う素行再開を見据えて、今から海外進出の準備や情報収集を進められている企業も多いことかと思います。本日のウェビナーでは、香港の最新のビジネス環境、特にフードサービスと小売 e コマースの業界に焦点を当て、これら市場の最新情報やトレンドについてご案内いたします。それぞれの業界において実際に香港でビジネスを行っている企業からもゲストスピーカーをお招きし、どのように香港でビジネスチャンスを見つけ、そしてそれをどのように生かしているのかといった点についてもお話ししていただく予定です。本日のウェビナーが香港を海外進出先の候補として、皆様にご検討いただける良いきっかけになれば幸いです。それではスピーカーによる講演に移らせていただきます。最初のスピーカーは、私どもインベスト香港の接客サービス旅行産業部の部長、シンディ・ウォンが、香港フードサービス市場の最新情報とトレンドというテーマでお話しさせていただきます。シンディ、over to you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Cindy from Invest Hong Kong. Now I will need to look at my screen. Thanks for having me as a speaker today, and you're very welcome for joining us as well. I will update you about the latest situation in Hong Kong and also some of the food and beverage trends here. I'm sure most of you must have been to Hong Kong previously. Just to recap, Hong Kong, we have a population of 7.5 million people, and we love to eat and shop. So that's why we have over 16,000 restaurants in Hong Kong. Because of the COVID, so at the moment, the situation is the restaurants actually is limited to 2 persons per table, and they have to close by 6 o'clock. So no dine-in after 6 o'clock, but things are improving. This is the latest situation. After April 21st, so we still have almost 1 month, we will have a relaxation of social distancing rules. So we will be allowed to have 4 persons to sit on the table. That is, luxury already, 4 persons to sit together. And we haven't seen our colleagues for some time. And then for restaurants, they are allowed to have dinner business, dine-in dinner business until 10 p.m. So it's good news for Hong Kong people, for those of us who love to eat, and then we can meet more friends, and then can dine out until 10 p.m. So for the trend, actually, for the COVID, just like everywhere else, food delivery, meal delivery become, very important part of our life. And more companies are focusing on collaboration of meal deliveries. You can see from the slides. Of course, we will share with you with these slides because of the time issue. So I may not go through every slide in details with you, but I will send you the slides for you to look at them, in more details later. We have TV Mall, we have Deliveroo, we have Foodpanda, and also we have more cloud kitchens coming to Hong Kong so that you can minimize the production cost and investment cost. Later, Arthur from Deliveroo, of course, will tell us more about, the cloud kitchen and the delivery business. For company, when you consider to come to Hong Kong, there are a few things, of course, you have to consider nowadays will be the dine-in and also the takeaway ratio in terms of the areas of the restaurants that you are going to set up, and also look at your food menu, whether your menu is easier to be packed to be takeaway food, and also the setup of a sound good POS system so that you can connect with the delivery companies easier. And also, you can see from this diagram, before COVID, the food delivery sales is only around, well, below 10% actually, single digit. But after COVID, it's now, I think, almost 30% already. Maybe Deliveroo will have more figures about this later to share with you too. And also because of COVID, so we spend more time and also money on online grocery shopping nowadays, especially for contactless shopping. You can see actually 7-Eleven, convenience stores, all the supermarkets, online like Hong Kong TV Mall, Foodpanda. Nowadays in Hong Kong, even wet markets, they are doing a lot of delivery business. So no matter it's traditional or new business, they have to look into the grocery online shopping. So if you're coming to Hong Kong, you may really need to enhance maybe your CRM and also the data analytic ordering system so that you can manage the supplies and also to manage the supply chains and also connection with your members, your clients better. Hong Kong is always has a very vibrant scene where East meets West and menus adapted to fit Asian stomachs in popular chains and fine dining restaurants. More restaurants nowadays are also serving green menus and also ready-to-eat meals. Like, for example, the big chains like Starbucks, KFC, even Muji also have its own vegetarian menus. And you can see even dumplings. I have tried different, brands in Hong Kong, and also welcome, some more from Japan later, I hope. And also luncheon meat, omni luncheon meat. So we can see that actually, for companies from this kind of plant-based or green eating business, they will take up, more of the market share in the future. This is not a very complicated slides. Actually, Green Monday also interview. Green Monday is one of the biggest the plant-based supermarket and also a platform. They interview, a lot of, people in Hong Kong, and they were saying that 40% of them are flexitarians. I think I am one of them already. Flexitarian means you prefer to eat more vegetables. I think nowadays, all of us, especially I think Japanese, you also eat a lot of fruit and vegetables. And also 34% agreed and 80% strongly agree to include more plant-based food in their diet. And 77% growth of grocery sales also at Green Common, at this, plant-based supermarket. So the trend is really growing in terms of using plant-based and also more green ingredients in restaurant menus. For Hong Kong people, it's always about, time. So one concept is growing very fast is the grab and go concept. And then to meet with the fast pace of Hong Kong people, of course, the rice balls, the pizza, and the burgers are popular, but what is popular nowadays is also the dim sum. In the past, we go to restaurants for a tea house for dim sum lunch, or for breakfast. But nowadays, there are plenty of dim sum outlets in Hong Kong. There are many for takeaways. They are grab and go. And also, we also welcome a lot of, companies, modify easier menu items for providing food pickup service, but not compromising on the food quality. So you have to look at, the menu items, whether your food also can keep a good quality when have to be delivered, to the customers, maybe in 30 minutes. So for restaurants, one thing very important is the rent. You can see from the diagram that from the 2019, actually for shopping mall, there is a drop of 37% for the rent. And also for the street level shops, they have a bigger hit. So it's almost half price to compare. And this figure is only, for last year. Actually, we have a more updated one. Traditional retail areas get hard hit, but already slowing down. And because, in a few months' time, people, expect, to be back, on the street, back to work. So actually, the drop has been flattened out already. They expect to have another 2% drop for the shopping mall and another 6% drop for the street level shops only. And also, the leasing momentum has been improving moderately since last year. But of course, these few months stopped a little bit, but we can, see that things will be improving, next month or later. And in terms of the rental, where to rent, not exactly nowadays, people or the restaurants are looking at traditional areas. They are looking at neighborhood districts. For example, TKO, Zhengguanou, Yunlong, and also Tuen Mun. They're looking for the size can be as small as 200 to 300 square feet, mainly to serve the local residents. And then it's also great for entrepreneurs and also for chef owners to test their new concept. And also it's good for franchise business, also, to find, that next portfolio of branches. When we talk about trend in Hong Kong, of course, we cannot forget the Greater Bay Area, the GBA area. GBA, it consists of 11 cities and population of 86 million population. For global food and beverage trading companies, they can benefit from the vast market in China as consumers now have more discretionary income and become more health conscious, while Hong Kong will play the important facilitating role in domestic international dual circulation strategy. For food and beverage manufacturers, they are showing interest to set up their production line in Asia to tackle supply chain challenges and to serve the markets closer. Our advanced manufacturing capabilities put Hong Kong as a pilot center and GBA for commercialization. The reindustrialization funding scheme had approved a funding of 15 million Hong Kong dollar for Nissan Foods Company, your famous actually, cup noodles company, to implement a new smart production line for producing instant noodle products in Hong Kong. And for Hong Kong, in terms of the funding, apart from this funding, the government also have different support schemes to help companies to expand and to grow in Hong Kong and also in GBA, like for example, the BUD funding scheme, the branding upgrade and domestic fund. We can explain to you in more details for Invest Hong Kong services about these funding schemes. Also for food services companies, they can make use of Hong Kong to find strategic local partners for finance, logistics, and operations, and to test the recipe and concept, set the trend and enter the 86 million population GBA market. Hong Kong has a very mature food and drink digital ecosystem of meal delivery, online grocery shopping, cloud kitchens, and innovations across the whole value chain. By testing products, services, and habits with Hong Kong consumers, adaptations paved the way for entering the coveted GBA and mainland markets and access to the highly digitally savvy customers. Last but not least, if you want to explore how digital ecosystem accelerates growth in food services, please download this pitch book that we did it with PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, end of last year. It highlights the forecast and the case studies from professionals and industry experts like Deliveroo, Green Monday, and Black Sheep, etc. So this is my contact and my presentation, and I will stay behind for the Q&A sessions. Please feel free to ask questions later. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation, Cindy. 続きまして、デリバルー香港リミテッドのコマーシャルディレクター、アーサー・ワンさんをお招きしたいと思います。デリバルー社は2013年に英国ロンドンで創業されたフードデリバリー会社で、現在では世界11の国と地域の約800都市でサービスを提供しています。ワンさんの講演テーマは、持続的な成長を香港フードデリバリー市場で実現する秘訣です。それではワンさん、よろしくお願いいたします。
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Very, very pleased and thank you for your time today. Very pleased to be here. My name is Arthur Wen. I'm the Commercial Director for Deliveroo Hong Kong, looking after all of our restaurant partners on our platform. So today I will be sharing a little bit more about the Deliveroo, a little bit of introduction into Deliveroo, the food delivery trends and the customer insights that we see in Hong Kong. And finally, I'll also share a little bit about some of the innovations and some of the tools for our restaurant partners in order for us to achieve sustainable growth in this space, in this food delivery space. So without further ado, in terms of Deliveroo, we have actually been operating in Hong Kong ever since 2015. And we've actually grown significantly over the past few years. You can see currently we actually have about 10,000 restaurant partners and it's continuing to grow. And we have also over 12,000 riders on our fleet for the delivery and logistic operations. So from the chart, you can see we actually have a presence in all of the regions in Hong Kong, namely the Hong Kong Island, the Kowloon side, and also the New Territories. We also have grown our Editions Kitchens, which is our cloud kitchen offerings ever since 2017. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a while. We have a Deliveroo Plus subscription service, which is a paid subscription service where customers pay about $98 on our platform per month in order for us to have free delivery to our customers. We also have quite a substantial investment coming from Amazon as well, with $575 million US. And they gave us not only the investments, but also the expertise and the technology and the know-how in order for us to grow our platform marketplace. What's also probably some of you may also know that last year in March, we actually IPO'd and now we're a public company. So we're actually growing very, very fast in the upcoming 2 to 3 years. What we pride ourselves really much in Deliveroo is we actually take care of all 3 sides of the marketplace. So for a very simple delivery of, say, a customer ordering on our app to take the delivery of the food item to your home, that to the average consumer is actually a very, very simple thing. But behind the scenes, actually, there's a lot of operation, a lot of logistics, a lot of tech that's involved in order for us to make that delivery. So we also take care a lot about not just the customers, but also our restaurant partners and also obviously our rider fleet as well. So in terms of the market share overall in Hong Kong, effectively since the end of last year, there's basically a duopoly. So only remaining major food delivery platform in Hong Kong is Foodpanda and Deliveroo. Uber Eats has exited in Hong Kong since the end of last year. So what we have seen is that over the past 12 to 24 months, our market share has actually steadily increased over the time. Currently, we are standing at about 46 to 47% of the overall food delivery market share in Hong Kong. Something to note is that we have a very dominant share of the market share in the Hong Kong island specifically, where we see the most affluent and most international customers on our platform. Over 50% of our customers also are very loyal. They order over 14 times per month on our platform. And we also see that on average, we see a very fast 2 minutes on average faster delivery than our closest competitors. So what I mentioned is we are the only delivery platform in Hong Kong which provides a dedicated in-house customer service. So where customers, if they have problems with their orders or if restaurants has any problems, we have a local support. Customer service team to answer any of the inquiries. So some of the things that we are actually constantly developing in Hong Kong as well as in other regions as well is the grocery space. So we are proactively growing the number of business partners that we work with, what we call on-demand grocery, whereby we are able to deliver the grocery items or the shopping within a 30-minute time frame. So on the left-hand side, you can see a lot of the really rapid growing figures that we've seen. We only started this since the middle of last year, and we're constantly seeing very, very impressive growth rates. On the right-hand side, you can see some of the partners that we do work with, including Park and Shop, Don Don Donki, and City Super. And these are some of the more important partners to us for us to grow in this online grocery space. So moving on, I will talk a little bit more about the food delivery trends. So from the slide here, you can see actually 60% of Hong Kong people already feel that food delivery is a very, very integral part, a necessity in their daily lives. Right? We've seen a lot from the survey that we do, some of the third-party surveys that we also see from our Share of Stomach report. We also see that 64% of the Hong Kong people, they agree that ordering during this COVID-19 period has contributed to their happiness and well-being. So it's very, very highly associated with food ordering and food delivery. The other piece noteworthy is that 78% of the consumers in Hong Kong has actually ordered the food delivery services since the beginning of this pandemic. And on average, every month, most of our customers, we see an average spending of $1,300+ Hong Kong dollars on food delivery services last year. So this has been up about 21% overall compared to the 2019 figure. Now, 55% of the Hong Kong consumers also agree that they have ordered a lot more food than previously. And when we asked the survey respondents, actually 75% of them will continue to see increase in the food delivery going on in the future, even when the pandemic is finished, right? So going back, yep. So from the survey, we also see that a lot of our customers, when it comes to food online, food ordering online, 71% of them agree that actually the food plays a very important role in their mental health, okay? And 65% of them also wish to take care of their nutrition levels, the calories they intake, and this is also playing a very, very important role when they're deciding what food to order from our platform. On the right-hand side, you can see, apart from health, it's also important to note that taste is still a very, very important decision-making feature. So 38% of the Hong Kong consumers actually consider the flavor, the taste as an important part of the decision-making, while 30% are also concerned about the specific dietary requirements. And also 26% of them are also would like to order from partners and restaurants that are prepared with strong expertise in the food cooking. Now, when it comes to the convenience of ordering food, a lot of the customers, why do they order food online? Most of our respondents say that 29% of them say that they actually cannot try something from at their home. They want to try something new, right? And in the spirit of Hong Kong people, where a lot of them are still very busy in their day-to-day work, a lot of them actually don't have enough time to go out and buy groceries and cook and prepare the food for themselves. So they would actually rather order in for the dining experience. So on the right-hand side, you can see that what are the cuisines that are most popular. Asian food still is ranked very, very high when it comes to the new cuisines that they want to try out. And in that order, you can see Japanese, Korean, and also Thai is a very, very important cuisines that they would like to try out. In fact, during the pandemic, we also see that a lot of the Hong Kong people actually feel that when they have actually tasted and tried out new food from, for example, from Japan, Japanese restaurants, they already feel like they have traveled to Japan already, right? So this is something that we also see very, very much amongst all the Hong Kong respondents. So when we drill a little bit deeper into the Japanese food that is ordered on our platform, most of the Japanese food delivery, you can see, is around 100. So 50% of them are about $100 to $200 in value. And then what was interesting to see was that, especially during the pandemic, there's a lot of this individual meal box or bento box, which is getting very, very popular with our customers. And we see this not only in the Japanese scene, and we see this borrowed from the Japanese restaurants over to a lot of the Chinese restaurants as well. So for example, some of the Chinese dim sum restaurants where typically they would have to order, a typical order would have maybe like 5 or 6 different types of dim sums. We now see a lot of the restaurants doing more packaged bento boxes for dim sum in particular. Okay, and on the right hand side, you can see the kind of customer behavior. So obviously with a lot of the trends we see in the dining space as well, very similarly, is weekdays, we tend to see a higher proportion, over 50% of them ordering from a lunch. And then on the right hand side, we also see more dinner portions during the weekends. We can see that dinner is also generally 20% higher in the size of the spending over the lunch periods. And now also weekend spending tends to also be about 10% higher than the weekdays because of the larger party sizes and the family sizes. Okay, so moving on, I will talk a bit more about the tools and the innovations that we can see. I will share a few of them for all of you today to see how we can continue the sustainable growth. So first up is the virtual brands. This is a very interesting and quite fairly new concept in the food delivery space. We've operated this for the past couple of years, and we've seen like huge success with some of our restaurant partners. So basically, in essence, is apart from owning your own restaurant brand in certain locations, if you want to expand on getting particularly new customers or new regions within Hong Kong, it is an interesting concept where we can actually co-create a new brand with the restaurant partner in order for us to capture this new audience. So on the left-hand side, you can see, for example, one of our restaurant partners called Mott 32. They're a very high-end luxury restaurant partner, which has an average meal size, dish size of about $300 Hong Kong. We helped them to co-create one of these virtual brands called Comfort Food, and launched on our platform with kind of meal sizes between around $100 to $200. So effectively, they're also expanding into this newer, younger segment, and they've seen huge success in growing up to about three triple-digit growth in their platform upon about 3 months of launch. It's also a very good testing ground for restaurants. We can see it's a very low risk for them. If certain restaurants, when we create a virtual brand, do not work out, we can always close it down, and then we can also create a different brand. We also create the menu, and based on the segments and also the customer insights that we see from our platform, we can create the different types of menu items in terms of the operation and also the logistics on how to make the delivery. So in the middle, you can see, for example, quite a famous restaurant in Hong Kong, Watami. We have also co-created with them a new virtual brand called the Wa Soup. And that was pretty much born out of the customer insights we see, where where, a couple of slides ago, I also mentioned a lot of the customers in Hong Kong are very, very health conscious. They want to eat more healthy, but at the same time, they enjoy that taste as well. So that's where we build up the soup brand, where it is more, also a little bit more healthy option for the customers. On the right-hand side, we can see also the customers is also very much, they like freshness in Hong Kong. So virtual brands, building new brands in place allows our restaurant partners to grow and to also to test out new concepts without jeopardizing their actual core brand. Okay, and in the deliveries and in terms of the delivery, what we can provide is also to help. Oops. Sorry, just to move back. Right. Yeah, and so what we provide is also some of the insights. I think what is very important to know is oftentimes restaurant partners, it's very difficult for them to understand which regions or which zones they want to grow and expand in. Also, what are the kind of cuisines that are lacking in those zones? What are the cuisines that are popular in those zones? So we have quite a sophisticated algorithm to look at the different demographics, customer demographics, together with our kind of transactional and behavioral data for us to be able to determine with the local restaurant brands where they should grow and what kind of brands they can build, what kind of menu items they can offer, right? So we work together with our partners, even on the operational issues, how to reduce the preparation times, how to best speed up the delivery experience for our customers. So we've seen a lot of success in this space where actually on average, the virtual brands that we build will have an incremental 75% of the orders coming in. Globally, we've also had a lot of experience building over 750 of these virtual brands. And actually a lot of the brands that we build, 84% of the customers actually have not ordered from the original brand before, and they have only ordered from the virtual brand. So these are some of the insights that we can share with you, and one of the levers that you guys can be using in order for you to grow the virtual brand business. Another space I want to share is more about the Editions Kitchen, which is our cloud kitchen platform. So we've operated since 2017. I think we now have about 8 kitchens in space throughout the Hong Kong territory, and we're continuing to grow in this space. So the offering to the customer is very clearly certain regions or certain zones may have missing cuisines. And we are able to provide a better range of selection for those different local areas. It also helps us to improve the delivery services. Generally speaking, we want to be delivering the food and the meals within a 30-minute time frame to ensure the quality of the food, the temperature remains a very good quality for them. So it allows us to build in this delivery operational optimization for the restaurant partners. For the restaurant side, the benefit is obviously we are charging on a commission-based model. So it's a commission based on the order rather than a fixed rental fee. So that is one of the most important aspects why a lot of our restaurant partners are very, very interested to work with us to expand into these areas in the Editions kitchens. So you can expand to a wider market, and also it will provide a better delivery experience overall to our customers, as these kitchens are only delivery only. Okay, so some of the services that we actually set up as well is the kitchen setup. We will also, just moving back one slide, sorry. Yeah, okay, so is also the design, the equipment, the installation of these kitchens. So we will work together. We have an operations team to work together with the restaurant partner. We will do the FEHD food licensing, and also included are the rental, the rates, the utilities, Wi-Fi support, and any other operational on-site management. We will also provide this consultation and support to the providers. The other kind of support that we do specifically for the cloud kitchens is to increase the marketing and the promotions, some of the optimizations around menu, what kind of menu items work or do not work within certain specific zones. And obviously a lot of the data that I mentioned, the customer insights, the customer feedback, okay? And so finally, I would also like to share a little bit about the last thing is the marketer event. So in terms of the promotions and the marketing that we are able to provide, I think very differently from the normal traditional promotions like on prints or on the outdoor media, what we can provide is a digital solution where you can target the exact customers you want. So through our marketer offers, where we can provide discounting or buy one, get one free type of promotions, we can offer them the right customers. So which kind of zones or regions you want to be promoting in, what kind of hours, is it lunchtime, is it breakfast? And then also the right messaging as well, you can change on the go. So we also provide a lot of the insights. So for example, if you are running a promotion on, let's say, a social media platform, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, it is very good. You can target the different types of audiences, but at the end of the day, it's very hard for us to see whether the customer has actually bought from the platform. So from our platform, the marketer, what you can do is actually see the transactions associated with this promotion. And then also we can specifically target customers which are new to your store, new to your platform, new to your restaurant, and also retarget them. If they have already become one of your customers, we can encourage the repeated visits and repeated purchase. And finally, I think in terms of also what our partners really appreciate is in terms of the reporting side, we have very clear reporting on the ROI, the return on the investment that is given in the money or the promotions that you're spending. We can see what kind of customers actually buy from you, the demographics, and then how to continue to run better promotions so that you have continued influx of the repeated customers. Okay, so that's all I really have to share for today for the session. Thank you very much for your time.
ワンさん、ありがとうございました。現時点で4人のスピーカーのうちですね、お二人の講演が終わりました。この後、2人のスピーカーの講演の後にですね、Q&A セッションございます。ですので、もし最初のスピーカーのお二人の方に何かご質問とある方は、今からでもすでにQ&A の方には書き込んでいただけますので、ご質問いただければと思います。それでは続きまして、私どもインベスト香港の消費財小売部の部長、アンジェリカ・リョンが、最新の小売トレンドと、香港市場の動向というテーマでお話しさせていただきます。アンジェリカ、please come in.
Hello, good afternoon. In the following presentation, I'd like to recap some of the many reasons why Hong Kong is a great place to have a consumer products company and your setup. And the first part will be more on the statistics that you would like to know. And then on the other part, the later part, it will be talking about some business entry models for the Hong Kong market. So if we look at this slide first, Hong Kong has a population of about 7.5 million people. And if we look at the pie chart below, you can see that going to Japan in 2019, there has been over 2 million visitors from Hong Kong. Of course, many of them travel to Japan more than once a year. But if we compare that to the mainland China statistics, there are 9 million visitors to Japan, but that is from a population of 1.3 billion people. So the proportion of Hong Kongers who have been to Japan is very high. And it also indicates that they love the Japanese culture, the food, the shopping, and all those things that are available in your lovely country. So from our statistics, Hong Kong is the fourth biggest source of inbound visitors to Japan. Personally, I'm a big fan of sumo and kabuki. So on this slide, I want to highlight our research that we did on the major imports from Japan to Hong Kong. And you can see in many segments, they are in the top 4 categories. So we will have another guest speaker from iStyle talking about skincare and cosmetics. So you can see Japan imports to Hong Kong in this segment is ranking number 3. The other growth areas we would like to point out is in the sports equipment. For example, we have ASICS, which is also very popular here in Hong Kong. And of course, there are more and more camping equipment brands looking at the Hong Kong market. For toys, I'd also like to clarify that it's not only children's toys, but also collectible items, licensed items. For example, the manga Demon Slayer is also very popular in Hong Kong with all the collectibles and figurines. And then, of course, the home electronics segment. You heard earlier from Cindy, actually, apart from food delivery into Hong Kong, there has also been an increase in home cooking. So household equipment, cleaning equipment, kitchenware, and for example, houseware brands such as Bruno have also been very popular in the recent year, especially after COVID. So you will think, how has COVID affected Hong Kong? You can see from this slide, actually the expenses and importation from Japan is actually even higher than before COVID. So similar to what our other guest speaker, Arthur, mentioned, Hong Kong people are using shopping and eating as a way to travel around the world. And of course, shopping, cross-border shopping and buying Japanese goods is second best than being actually able to physically visit Japan. So the following 2 slides also give a very strong indication that the Hong Kong domestic market is very strong. So we are showing Euromonitor statistics for 2021. And if you look at the categories that are doing very well, if we look under the beauty and personal care category, you can see it is mainly the premium cosmetics, premium segment of face masks, premium segment of anti-aging that are doing very, very well. And also when we look at the luxury sales, it is also having very strong growth. So since people are not being able to travel, they are also spending more and more money on things to make themselves happy, and usually in the premium segment. And then this is some other categories and some growth expectations. So personal accessories, I think, is also worth looking at the luggage and travel equipment. This is something also very strong in the Japanese market, and apparel, and of course the luxury goods as, again, super premium color cosmetics. So after those slides, let's go on to talk about all the business advantages that you can receive by setting up an entity in Hong Kong. So we go through some of the points very briefly. First is the free port status. It means that customs clearance can be very fast and there is no import tax, which means if you have products such as Wagyu or sashimi or high-end cosmetics, you can have that air shipment cleared very quickly. And then we have a very low corporate tax rate, 16.5% for profits of 2 million Hong Kong dollars or above, and 8.25% for those under 2 million in profit. So it's very attractive. And when we say English and Chinese are official languages, it means your business contracts can be written in the English language. There is no need to translate into a Chinese language document. And then for IP protection, it is especially important if you have character licenses, or if you need to do trademarking, or if you have copyright issues. For stable currency, so the Hong Kong dollar is pegged to the US dollar and not to the renminbi. So the banks in Hong Kong allow multi-currency bank accounts. So it means you are freely able to pay your suppliers across Asia or across the world using a multi-currency bank account. And the Hong Kong passport can travel to 170 countries visa-free. So that is also meaning Hong Kong is a very good location for regional headquarters. So after the travel ban is lifted, you can fly from Hong Kong to many, many locations. So for market potential of the 7.45 million people, in the past, we kind of say that Hong Kong e-commerce is not developed, but actually during COVID, this has accelerated very, very quickly. So if we look at the Euromonitor projection on the 2021 retail sales, so this would include cross-border transaction as well. It is almost 50 billion Hong Kong dollars, which is amazing growth. And you can see the growth trajectory is expected to continue. And I think for this slide, there is 3 things to remember. One is the COVID accelerated e-commerce. So we saw Cindy showing a lot of the Hong Kong TV Mall and other platforms. There is a high spending power of Hong Kong residents. Our studies show is about the 2nd highest in Asia, large basket size. And there is continual growth in the e-commerce platform. So is Hong Kong only for the Greater China region? Not really. Also, it's very easy to access different ASEAN locations from a base in Hong Kong. And you can also see it is on a growth trajectory. So Cindy already mentioned the Greater Bay Area. At the moment, one of the models I will talk about is the cross-border e-commerce model, which is a lower risk and easier set up option for companies who may be new to this area. Okay, so in this slide, we are talking about a global website model, which means that you have an entity in Hong Kong. The warehouse is also in Hong Kong, but you are trying to sell directly to the mainland or to the Asian consumer. So the part is to note that in Greater China, in mainland China, most of the people are using Alipay or WeChat Pay wallet, and they may not have an international payment credit card. So this model has, it is not so convenient for the mainland Chinese consumer, but this model will work very well in Hong Kong, which we have many digital payment options. For this market entry model, it is the marketplace model, and using a cross-border e-commerce model where you can still keep the profits in the Hong Kong office, which is at the lower tax rate, and you can hire a small team of people to work with different channel distributors across Asia and across mainland China. So for example, Alibaba and JD, they also have very large offices in Hong Kong that you can work with and start this model to explore the Greater China region. So here are some explanation, but as we will give you the slides, feel free to read this in your own time. And if you have any questions, our team is happy to talk to you. For this one on the e-commerce, cross-border e-commerce, I'd just like to bring your attention to the upper left-hand corner box that the per person annual quota is around 4,000 US dollars per year per shopper. So this means cross-border e-commerce is more suitable for middle-priced goods and not suitable for ultra luxury products because it will easily exceed the threshold amount. So in Hong Kong, apart from being a logistics hub, there is also many service providers who can do the last mile delivery for you. For example, Yamamoto Logistics from Japan, they can deliver products directly to the door of your customer. And Hong Kong Post is a very cost-effective way for you to put direct mail into the mailbox of a selected neighborhood. You can choose, for example, you have the boxes of A, B, C, D, Global Elite, City Heights. So you can choose the demographic you are interested, and then the postman can deliver your digital market, your printed marketing direct into the post box. And we have known companies that use the service to encourage samples like soy sauce or cosmetic sampling directly into the user's mailbox. So you can see the Hong Kong International Airport is building ourselves into a regional logistics hub, and this will have a great impact on the attractiveness of Hong Kong for e-commerce regionally. Cainiao is a joint venture with the Alibaba Group, and this is their arm, their logistics arm, and of course DHL. So some of them will be doing cold chain, some of them will be doing luxury goods. So do keep an eye on this logistics development in the Hong Kong market. So because of interest of time, here are some of the items that our teams in Tokyo and Osaka can guide you. We understand that each company will have a different idea about market entry models that they want to consider. Not every model is suitable for each company. There are pros and cons. So please feel free to contact us after this webinar and we can talk you through and discuss which is the best model that suits your company. And finally, here is the QR code that for booklets about the digital ecosystem in Hong Kong, covering Hong Kong information, food services, e-commerce, and also a booklet on the creative segment, digital art, NFTs, and things like that. So this series is available in the Japanese language. So thank you very much. Time back to you, Nakata-san.
Thank you, Angelica. それでは続きまして、最後のスピーカーとなりますが、日本のコスメセレクトショップ、アットコスメストアを香港で展開しているアイスタイルリテール香港、代表取締役の山本裕樹さんをお招きし、香港におけるデジタルとリアルの融合とビジネスチャンスというテーマでお話ししていただきます。山本さんは2016年にアイスタイルに入社され、アットコスメストアの海外展開を推進、現在は香港事業を一手に担っていらっしゃいます。それでは山本さん、よろしくお願いいたします。
はい、皆様はじめまして、そしてこんにちは。先ほどご紹介に預かりました私、アットコスメというサービスを香港で展開しています、アイスタイルリテール香港の山本と申します。本日はですね、香港における化粧品業界のデジタルとリアルの融合とビジネスチャンスというテーマで、簡単にですね、短い時間ではありますが、香港でのデジタルとリアル、アットコスメでどのような活動をしてきたかということと、今後の展望について簡単にお話ができればと思いますので、どうぞよろしくお願いいたします。それでは早速、内容の方に移らせていただきたいと思います。まずですね、すいません、ミュートになってましたね。割とずっとミュートになってましたが、すいません。
大丈夫ですよ。今の
大丈夫ですか？
ところだけ。はい、大丈夫です。続けてください。
すみません、恐れ入ります。アットコスメですね、こちらの生活者のデータを軸にした日本ナンバーの美容プラットフォームという形になっております。この生活者のデータを軸にした、この生活者のデータって何かというと、この図の真ん中に書いてあるデータベースのようなところがそうなんですけれども、ユーザーのデータであったり、商品、化粧品の商品のデータであったり、そこに紐づくユーザーの口コミのデータであったり、あとは販売データですね。こういったものを元にした、そこから矢印上のところに出ているのは、アットコスメというメディアを運営していたりですとか、こちらは日本でナンバーワンの美容のメディア、口コミのメディアになっています。コンシューマージェネレーテッドメディアなので、ユーザーの口コミで成り立っているようなメディアになります。があったりですとか、左下の矢印のところに関しては、こちら e リテールですね、e コマースです。アットコスメショッピングという日本ナンバーワンの美容専門の EC サイトを運営していたりですとか、で、右側の下に書いてあるのが、日本ナンバーワンの化粧品専門店ですね、アットコスメストアというお店を運営していると。このメディアと e コマースと、そしてリテールですね、リアルのリテールというものを生活者のデータを軸にして展開している、このプラットフォームっていうのがアットコスメというものの総称になります。で、これと同じものを我々香港でも作っておりまして、同様に真ん中にあるデータベースっていうのが、香港のユーザーの情報であったり、香港で流通している化粧品の情報であったり、それに紐づく香港のローカルの人の口コミデータ、あとは販売のデータですね。こういうものを軸にしたメディア、アットコスメというメディアですね。こちらは、香港で唯一の CGM のメディアになっています。現在、口コミ数は25万5000件以上の口コミがもう溜まっている、割と規模がでかくなってきているメディアになっています。っていうのを運営していたりですとか、右下のところ、アットコスメストアですね。こちらも生活者のデータを軸にした化粧品専門店という中では、香港で唯一の化粧品専門店になっています。っていうのと、e リテールですね。アットコスメオンラインという e リテールもやっているという、この3つのアセットを日本同様で香港でも展開しているプラットフォームがアットコスメになります。本日はデジタルということなので、この中で上の部分、アットコスメメディアについて少し簡単にフォーカスしてお話をさせていただければと思います。アットコスメメディアっていうのは何かっていうと、日本最大級の美容系総合サイトのことをアットコスメのメディアと言います。1999年にサービスをスタートしておりまして、月間ユニークユーザー数が今1630万人以上で、会員数は730万人以上いて、で商品数に関しては、これ日本で流通している化粧品の商品なんですけれども、36万件以上の商品が登録されていて、でそれに紐づくユーザーの口コミ数が1772万件以上蓄積されている日本のコンシューマージェネレーテッドメディアですね。美容業界化粧品業界におけるコンシューマージェネレーテッドメディアで日本最大級のものになっております。でこの23年前に日本でオープンしたこのアットコスメというメディアなんですけれども、これと同様のサービスを我々香港でも展開しています。香港のメディアに関しては2019年の10月にこちらアプリベースでスタートしているものになるんですけれども、現在ダウンロード数は7万4200回以上ですね。で会員数も6万4200人以上おりまして、で商品数に関しても2万4700商品以上、こちらはどんどん商品数をブランドさんと連携しながら今増やしていっているという状況です。で特筆すべきところが、口コミ数なんですけれども、こちらすでに25万5300件以上の口コミがすでに溜まったデータベースになっています。なので割と香港においては一つこういった CGM でいくと、飲食業界じゃないな、あれです。日本でいう食べログみたいなもので、オープンライスっていうアプリ、メディアが一つ大きな飲食店における CGM になってるんですけれども、化粧品業界においての CGM っていうのは我々のアットコスメしか存在しないので、この規模のものになってきているものっていうのができてきたというところが一つ面白いところかなと思っております。で、このアットコスメの香港メディアにおいてもですね、日本と同様にベストコスメアワードというのを年に1回12月に表彰しています。これはその1年の中でユーザーが口コミをしたりして評価が高かったものをそれぞれのカテゴリーで表彰していたりするものになるんですけれども、2020年に第1回を開催して、で昨年の12月にも2回目を開催しています。 で、毎年、香港内外で今50ぐらいのメディアにもいろいろ取り上げられたりする、コンテンツとなってまして、だんだんこの香港の中でも今すごく美容の化粧品のアワードという点においては、ものすごく話題になっているアワードに今現状になってきています。でこういったアットコスメのメディアっていうものも香港で展開し始めているのが、今我々のビジネスになっています。で、ここでですね、そのアットコスメ香港、日本において持っていたプラットフォームを香港においてどのように作ってきたかっていうような話を簡単に、振り返りながら、ご説明させていただければと思います。で、最初にですね、我々2018年にこちらに出てきたんですけれども、最初は2018年に右下に書いてあるアットコスメストアというお店を作るところからスタートしました。で2019年にかけて6店舗お店をオープンして、でそれで香港のローカル会員数を右下に書いてある、小さく書いてあるんですけれども、今現状21万8000人以上の香港のローカルの会員を、メンバーとして持ちながら運営している化粧品専門店を最初にスタートしました。でその後に2019年の10月にアットコスメのメディアを開始しています。通常というか日本においてはですね、先に1999年にアットコスメのメディアを作ってから2002年にアットコスメショッピング e コマースをスタートして2007年にリアルのお店をアットコスメストアをスタートしたという形でメディアを軸にビジネスをリテールに広げていったんですけれども、こと海外においてはこういった CGM を作っていく、しかも外資系企業が作っていくっていうところになると非常にハードルが高かったり時間がかかったりするというのがあったので、我々はあえて最初右下のリテールからスタートして香港のお客様にアットコスメっていうのはどんなものなんだろうっていうのを世界観を実際に体感してもらいながら感じてもらうっていうのを軸にして、そこで21万8000人集めたものをメディアの方をローンチした時にどんどん流し込んでいって、同じ世界観をオンラインでも楽しんでもらいながらメディアを成長させてきたというような流れをとっています。でその結果として、口コミ件数今現状ですけど25万5300件以上の規模にまで成長して、香港の美容業界の CGM では唯一の美容メディアというところまで成長ができています。なのでちょっとケーススタディとして香港の場合これ面白いかなと私個人的には感じてるんですけれども、通常オンラインのメディアをやる場合はオンラインだけで完結しながらマーケティング活動することが多いんですけれども、あえて香港のような人口密度もギュッて縮まっていて都市としてもギュッてなっている中でリアルがものすごい強度を持っているエリアにおいてはこういったリアルっていうものをうまく活用することで我々のような CGM オンラインの CGM も形成していくのにものすごく成長を促進するような力を持ってたりするんだよというようなことを一つ何か皆様のビジネスで役に立つことがあればと思って簡単にシェアさせていただきました。で、2年半メディアを運営する中でメディアもある程度の規模になってきたので、昨年の5月にですね、我々も香港域内での e コマースをスタートしています。でe コマースをスタートした背景は、先ほどデリバルーのアーサンさんやシンディやアンジェリカも言ってた通り、香港域内でものすごくコロナ禍でそういった e コマースが進んできたということと、特にそのアーサンさんがやってらっしゃるようなデリバルーのようなフードビジネスにおける e コマース、食べるものの通販で買うっていうような文化が当たり前になったことで、それに近い肌につけるものっていう化粧品のe コマースっていうものも少し促進してきたかなというような背景があって我々もスタートしたというところがあります。もともと香港は私十何年前から香港のマーケットをずっと見てきてるんですけれども、なかなか化粧品で e コマースをやるっていうのが成長しづらい環境がずっとありました。でなぜかっていうと簡単なんですけれども、先ほど申し上げたようにリアルがあまりにも強いのでリアルに行ってお買い物がすぐできてしまうっていうのが一つ原因としてあったんですけれども、コロナ禍でそのフードデリバリーがぐって加速して当たり前になったことで少し我々もこの e コマースで化粧品をお客さんが買うっていう文化ができてきたのかなと思って、昨年5月から半年間トライアンドエラーをしていろいろ見てきたんですけれども、これは確かに伸びてきているねっていうのを感じたので2025年22年か今年からは少しここを拡大して力を入れていくかなというフェーズに入っております。でここまでですね、こういったような軌跡をたどってきたんですけれども、 現在ですね、我々のアットコスメのプラットフォームが香港でできたということで、今までとこれからというのはどういうふうになっていくのかなっていうような簡単な展望を1枚スライドでまとめさせていただいたので、最後にそれをご説明させていただければと思います。でこちらなんですけれども、先ほどと同じこの香港の三角形のアセットですね、アットコスメが持っているプラットフォームのアセットなんですけれども、この上の部分、アットコスメメディアというものができたことによって、香港ローカルユーザーの情報であったり、香港ローカルで流通している化粧品の情報であったり、それに紐づいた香港ローカルの方々の口コミっていうものがぐんと溜まってきたメディアが一つできました。で、これができたことによって、何がこれからどんどん促進していくかっていうことを言うと、この右に矢印が出ているリアルのリテールっていうところでいくと、各チャンネルですね、例えば、そごうさんのような百貨店であったり、ドンキさんやイオンさんのようなスーパーマーケットというようなチャンネルであったり、笹さんやログオンさんのような化粧品専門店、ローカルの化粧品専門店であったり、バラエティストアであったり、あとは、松業さんやマンニングスさんやワトソンズさんのような、ローカルのドラッグストアさんや日系のドラッグストアさんだったりっていうのが、それぞれのチャンネルで化粧品を販売していくときに、確実にアットコスメのメディアが有効になってくるので、それぞれのお店の売り上げ、化粧品の売り上げが確実にこれ上昇すると思っています。で、日本でも23年前にアットコスメを作った後とのマーケティングというのが、だいぶそのような形で、リアルのお店の売り上げを伸ばす、リアルの化粧品会社さん、リアルの場所でお客様のブランドさんのマーケティングをサポートすることで、そのブランドさんの売り上げを伸ばすということに貢献してきたので、同じような環境がリアルのところで香港、これからもますます作られていくんじゃないかなと思っているっていうのが、まず右側のところですね。で、左側のところに関してなんですけれども、こういったアットコスメのメディアが、香港のローカルのユーザーの声、口コミ、あと商品情報っていうのが溜まってきたメディアができたことで、もちろん香港域内における e コマースでもこういった情報は使っていただけますし、一方で、周辺ですね、周辺のマカオですとか、グレーターベイエリアであったりですとか、台湾であったりっていった周辺の東アジアの国々に対しても、越境もそうですし、一般貿易の e コマースもそうなんですけれども、こういったアットコスメのメディアを使っていただくことで、ものすごくそのブランドさんがお客様にアプローチするときの一つのいい、マーケティングツールになるかなというふうに感じておりますし、ユーザーさんにとってみれば、こういった実際に消費者、生活者が、こう言っている口コミデータを見ることで、ブランドさんや、リテイラーさんとかが出している広告の情報とはまた違った視点でブランドさんとの接点を持てたりっていうことができるようになってくるので、この辺っていうのは非常に今後 e リテールという部分でもアットコスメの情報をふんだんに活かしていただければ伸ばしていくことができるんじゃないかなというふうに私としては感じております。なのでそうですね、これから香港に進出してみたいなと思ってらっしゃるような日系のメーカーさんがいらっしゃいましたらですね、ぜひこれを機にですね、香港に進出していただいて、我々のアットコスメのメディアとか情報をふんだんに使い倒していただきながら、リテール事業を行っていただければなと思いますし、一方で香港にもうすでに進出されている日系の化粧品会社様に関しては、ようやくこういったアットコスメのメディアのようなものがしっかりした規模で香港で出来上がりましたので、これを自社のマーケティングにもふんだんに使い倒していただいて、それぞれのブランドさんとお客様との接点を成長させていただければなと思っております。簡潔ではありますが、私からのお話は以上になります。ご清聴ありがとうございました。
はい、山本さん、どうもありがとうございました。それではですね、ここからはQ&A、質疑応答のセッションの方に移らせていただきます。では、まず最初の質問でございますが、こちらは、デリバルーの、社のアーサー・ワンさんにお答えいただきたいと思います。日本のフードサービス企業がデリバルーエディションズを活用して香港でビジネスを開始することは可能でしょうか。実際にデリバルーエディションを活用して香港に進出してきた海外のフードサービス企業の事例があれば教えてくださいといただきました。
Okay, thank you for your question. So for Editions Kitchens, one of the requirements for entering our Editions Kitchen is we have to have the store, the restaurant store already in place. So you have to have at least one restaurant store in place doing the delivery. And then we will then consider entering our Editions cloud kitchens. The main reason for that is that we have a very, very high demand. There's a lot of restaurant partners who do want to enter our kitchens. So we do need to have some kind of performance and some kind of baseline operational metrics for us to then help the restaurant partner to continue to expand. Okay, and there have been cases where these restaurant partners do come in. For example, if from Japan is Ichiran. There is another one called Campers, which is a local home cooked Japanese dishes like the curry rice or the omu rice. There is Watami, which is also in one of our kitchens. I think there's a couple more, probably not from Japan, but for example, from Korea, we have a couple of brands. One is Gupni, one is Lee's Chicken. They do the fried chicken as well. And they have been very successful partners for us in the Edition space.
はい、ワンさんありがとうございました。次の質問でございますけれども、次の質問はアイスタイルの山本様に質問、こちらお答えいただければと思います。実際に香港で生活とビジネスをされていて、香港の優れた点について、個人的にどのようにお考えでしょうか。でまた逆に、香港の生活環境やビジネス環境で日本企業にとって難しいなと思われる点がもしありましたら、教えていただければと思います。
はい、わかりました。まず最初のその優れた点に関してなんですけれども、こちらは地理的な部分がまず一つあるかなと思ってまして、それは香港、空港もハブになっているぐらいアジアの中ではそのような場所になっているので、たくさんの人がまず集まってきますっていうのと、そこにいろいろな人が集まってくるので、いろいろな情報もこう集まってきやすいっていうのが、まず一つあるかなというのが、香港の優れた点として私が感じている一つですね。でもう一つは、やはり言語面ですね。日本語喋れる方もいらっしゃいますけれども、英語と中国語、広東語が普通にコミュニケーションは広東語ですけれども、英語と中国語にも長けていらっしゃるっていうような方が多いので、基本的にその2つの言語があれば、アジア圏はもちろんですし、それ以外の国に対しても香港を中心にビジネスを展開するっていう意味ではすごくいいところかなと思ってます。なので、日本からアジアへっていうスタンスで考える場合というよりは、視点がアジアからアジアへって考える上では、香港は非常に使い勝手のいい場所かなというのは個人的に感じているっていうのが、優れている点ですかね。で、難しい点っていうのは、そうですね、香港は、流行り廃りも含めて非常にスピード感が速いので、日系企業のもう業態とかにもよると思うんですけれども、スピード感よりは少しスピード感が速く、いろいろなことを判断していく必要性はあるかなというふうに感じています。なので、生き馬の目を抜くようなところもあるので、割と会社経営する上においては、フレキシブルに、それぞれの状況の変化に対してアジャストしていくような経営であったり、組織体制っていうのが求められるっていうところは、少し日本よりもそういう点があるかなというふうに感じます。こんな感じですかね。
はい、山本さんどうもありがとうございました。はい、続きましての質問は、こちらは私どもインベスト香港のシンディの方に、お答え、お願いしたいと思います。回転寿司スシローがコロナ禍でも香港においてハイペースでお店を増やし成功していると聞きました。現在の香港で成功している日本のフードサービス企業にはどのような特徴があり、なぜ成功しているのでしょうか。
Okay, thank you for the question. Well, Sushiro, yes, very successful and very important for us Japanese sushi. And for the successful Japanese restaurants, I think they have a few common, areas that they look into. One is the good quality of food. Sushiro really, they brings in, they import a lot of, seafood from Japan directly. Yeah, most of the ingredients are from Japan. Very good quality of food, but value for money is very important for Hong Kong consumers because we are world travelers. We have visited Sushiro in Osaka already. We know the quality, we know the price range. So have to be, consistent authentic, for if you want to come to Hong Kong from Japan. And also for companies coming into Hong Kong, they have to be flexible too. Like for example, Shiseido, they have very long queue because of the business is doing so well. People easily have to queue up for 2 hours, which most of us may not have the patience. So they now also have the plan B. That means they use delivery companies like foodpanda and Deliveroo to deliver the sushi to homes. So for Hong Kong business to be successful in Hong Kong, so very important will be good quality of food, value for money, and then flexible in terms of the business operation. Have to go with the trend and the market. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. はい、そうしますと、次の質問はですね、こちらは、私ども同じく私のインベスト香港の、アンジェリカの方に、答えていただきたいと思います。日本企業が香港に拠点を置くことで GBA、大湾区ですね、GBA 全体で B2C の e コマースを行うことは可能ですか？また、アジア全体をマーケットとして B2C の e コマースを行う場合、低税率以外で香港にベースを置くメリットは何でしょうかといただきました。
Yes, absolutely. So at the moment for cosmetic products being sold on the mainland, there is actually certain licensing requirements. And for some products that may need up to 1 year in advance. And also if there are certain ingredients already already approved by the mainland government, those ingredients may not be passed. So for example, in cosmetic, for cross-border e-commerce, it means that the sale and the purchase were done in Hong Kong, and then you would use a third-party logistic provider to help you do the clearance and get the postal tax, and then deliver to the final consumer across the border without having to do all these tests and regulations. So the other popular item for cross-border e-commerce is baby products and formula milk. So that can also use this channel. And by having the warehouse in Hong Kong, it means you can also service Taiwan, Macau, ASEAN. It's not only for the mainland market. If your bonded warehouse is inside mainland China, it means you can only sell in one location. And if there's any unsold stock, it's difficult to bring back out. That's why in Hong Kong, because it's a duty-free port, you have, again, the word flexibility and adaptability to send your products all across Asia. Thank you.
Thank you, Angelica. はい、次の質問でございますが、こちらはですね、先ほどシンディがスシローのところでちょっとお答えしたときに出てきたフードパンダという他のデリバリー会社の名前が出てきたかと思うんですけれども、これはアーサー・ワンさんへ、デリバルー社のアーサー・ワンさんへにお答えいただきたいと思います。フードパンダや他のデリバリーサイトとの違いはどういった点でしょうか？
Yeah, I can take this. Yeah, so yeah, thanks for the question. I think the main difference, right? I'll put it as probably 3 big areas, right? On the surface, it looks like foodpanda and Deliveroo do very, very similar services, but underneath the hood, I think there's probably 3 main differences. The first one is, I think, is the customer type. So in general, our customers tend to be more premium. Generally they have basket sizes that are higher, and they also are typically around 25 to 40 younger generation, but they're willing to spend more, right, in general, okay? The second is around the customer service. I mentioned about the three-party marketplace, the customers, the riders, and the restaurant partners. So we are very, very focused on providing extraordinary services to all 3 sides of the marketplace, right? Not to say foodpanda doesn't do that, right? But the thing is, we have, for example, we have a local in-house customer service team, which directly works on inquiries, phone calls, anything to do with the spillage or the missing order items, things like this. So this is something that we proactively and we try to retain a customer servicing center in Hong Kong office, right? And then lastly, I think is on the customer insights. So we are at the end of the day, we are a food tech company. So the tech is very important to us. I mentioned just now a lot of our restaurant partners, when they do expansion plan, when they want to optimize their menus, when they want to, even with the stores and the outlets that they currently have, they want to try out new things. We have a lot of the data and insights on the customer side. So everything from the customer demographic on each of the different zones or regions in Hong Kong, together with the actual transactional data, what they actually buy, how frequently they buy it, what types of cuisines they like, what is their behavior during breakfast time or dinner time. Things like this, we have a lot of inputs from our teams to try and work with the restaurant partners in order for them to really understand what kind of customers they can bring in. We really like bringing customers who can not only come for once or twice, but when they try out new things, they have become our repeated customers onto your store. So that's what we proactively try to work with our restaurant partners on this. Yeah. Thanks.
はい、Thank you very much, ワンさん。はい、そうしましたらですね、お時間の都合で多分次の質問が最後になると思いますが、最後の質問はこちらは、アイスタイルの、山本様にご回答いただければと思います。メディアの口コミ数と店頭の商品の販売数は連動していますか？年間アワードとの関連性も教えてほしいですといただきました。
はい、そうですね。メディアのアワードの中に現在、アットコスメストアベストヒット賞というようなものも持っておりまして、そこの中に関しては、実際のアットコスメストアでの販売数に連動した、メディアのアワード、アットコスメストアのベストヒット商品というアワードが連動しています。で、その他の部分に関していくと、連動しているというよりは、メディアに関しては完全にメディアでの評価のもとに各カテゴリーで、評価をつけていくので、お店の販売データに連動するわけではないんですけれども、ただ一方でアットコスメストアに来ているお客様は、アットコスメのメディアを使ってらっしゃるので、アットコスメストアの中でマーケティング活動をしていただいたり、買った商品に関してぜひメディアで口コミをしてねとか、もしよかったら何かサンプリングとかをするので、商品使ってみてねというようなメディアと連携したマーケティング活動っていうのを我々はアットコスメのプラットフォーム内ではやってたりします。なので、アットコスメストアを使いながら、アットコスメストアに来ているお客様といろいろなコミュニケーションをしてもらうことが、結果としてメディアでの口コミを上げていくっていうことにもつながったりするので、そういう意味でいくと、連動していたりはするかなというような感じですね。お答えになってるからちょっとあれなんですけれども。
はい、ありがとうございました。はい。そういたしましたら、それでは閉会のお時間になりましたので、以上をもちまして、本ウェビナーは終了とさせていただきます。最後にイベントのご案内でございます。私どもインベスト香港では、近く日本の外食企業と、香港の外食企業をマッチングするイベントを開催する予定です。日本の外食ブランドをフランチャイズ導入したいと考える香港企業と、香港でフランチャイズ展開をしたいとお考えの日本企業を引き合わせるビジネスマッチングとなっております。本イベントにご興味のお持ちの方は、前日のアンケートにおいてその旨ご回答いただければ、詳細情報を後日ご案内させていただきます。以上でございます。視聴者の皆様、本日はお忙しい中、ご参加いただきまして、誠にありがとうございました。Mr. Asawan, 山本さん、Cindy, Angelica, thank you very much for joining this webinar. See you soon. Thank you.